Greetings, David. Hello to the YouTubes. Hello to the Instagrams, I think. I am Meredith Moore here in downtown Lawrence, Kansas with Polly George.
Howdy.
And our internet friends. We've been apart for so long.
Oh, we took a whole day off.
I meant the 3 months that we've been apart because global pandemic.
True.
So we're also on the air less right now because America is currently having a long overdue conversation about racial injustice, and the word exciting feels inappropriate, but I'm going to leave it out and just say it's a time. It's a time where things can change. So one of our changes has been being on the air less as we are on the news reports more, trying to bring y'all updates about important city events that are unfolding all around us because it's hard to synthesize, and we're already here every day, so we might as well fill you in time to time.
Yes, indeed. So
and Dave's here.
We got Dave here. Probably need to scoop him a little.
We are gonna wait.
We're gonna wait
because number one, he's really cute and cozy right now, and number two, today a little preview on Stationer to the Stars. Our correspondent Nikita will be here to do a tarot reading for Dave.
Wow!
A little joy in people's otherwise probably.
Did you hear that, Dave? You're getting a tarot
busy
reading from Nikita.
Tarot reading.
Okay.
So cute. And Nikita has a tarot deck that's cat-based, so it's going to be extremely cute. Hopefully, I hope we don't learn something we're worrying about Dave. He's already been through a lot.
Yeah.
So that's coming up a little bit later.
Yep. So as Meredith already said, we're broadcasting a little less frequently, in part because we're prepping the store for people to come back to it. Yesterday, big productivity day. Got a lot done.
For Paul. Whose birthday it is today.
Yep, it's my birthday. I'm old.
Send treats, because this one kind of blew it. Oh my gosh, Dave!
Oh, he's getting a little frisky here.
He's getting a little frisky. You were saying?
What was I saying? No, just maybe expect we won't be here on the daily, but we are going to try and keep bringing you the important local news, of which there's much. I watched a lot of YouTube community meetings over the last couple days. Mm-hmm. And what do you want to report on first? Last night's CityCom, the JCCC meeting.
Meetings are so hot right now. Meetings are hot. I want to do a little bit of, I feel like we're just barely learning about civics, all of us, all at once, more than ever.
It's babies.
Important. Civic babies, but Wonder Fair's been paying attention a while, ever since the arts were defunded in Kansas under the watch of Sam Brownback as our governor. So that's what radicalized me in local politics. Previously, I only paid attention to national politics and was involved with mostly fighting for equal rights for people who aren't straight. So anyway, that's backstory. But if you're just getting radicalized and way into local politics, welcome. It's the best. You're going to have a great time. The meetings are hilarious. If you liked Gilmore Girls, y'all, city commission meetings are hilarious. Thank you, Chris Flowers, for your contributions.
Yes.
What a hero. Local hero. We don't always agree, but
legend.
What a hero. I did like his shout out saying sex work is work in the latest city commission meeting. That city politics, it's fun. The meetings are coming fast and furious, and here's, before I went on my tangent, why that's happening now, or if they are, it's from home where they're more easily distracted and can just watch Twitter all day and their boss won't notice. So that's working out for us. All those folks are saying, like, let's just take care of this now. It's front and center in the conversation. We can't keep shoving it to the side. Racial equality in America. And reparations, frankly. So the other thing that's happening that means there's reason for all these meetings to be happening, they were already on the agenda, folks. It's not just happening by coincidence. City budgets are all happening right now. Typically, a city is going to be making its budget for the next year. They start the budget process in like January, February. Then everybody applies for funding in March, April. Most cities pushed things back this year because of COVID. So normally we would have had the budget done a little sooner, I think, but it was pushed back because of the COVID pandemic. So there was more time on the agenda when all of this started happening. So the budgets are still open.
Oh.
So all across the nation, most cities that would have otherwise finished budgeting, they still have a chance for community members to weigh in and say, like, actually, you know what? I see you earmarked 1/3 to 50% of our entire budget for policing, and we're starting to question if that's the best use of our resources. So can we just take a second look at that? So what a coincidence. I mean, the budget takes an entire quarter of the year normally, so this isn't wild that it's still open, but things just fell into place for people who want to become local advocates for change.
And is that the case here in Lawrence? Our budget still
The budget is still open.
being worked on?
The budget is not complete. We'll be
Okay.
reviewing city budget in the next 1 to 2 months, I think,
Mhm.
which is why there's conversations still open about things like how much each neighborhood association will get, or how much the police or the library, or frankly, any entity that's funded by the city will
Mhm.
receive. Sidewalk repair, like whatever you can think of, it's going to be in the budget. And that's why this conversation is urgent and it's happening now. And it's the focus of our attention while we have so many people to work together with and coalesce around making this change happen. It's pretty, indeed, if you're interested in whether your neighborhood applied for funding or not, heads up, I think 4 out of 50 something neighborhoods even apply for funding and receive it. Our neighborhood doesn't even apply.
Okay.
We're funded internally by people who live in the neighborhood, but we live in a neighborhood that's pretty rich. So people can look into that issue. It's not going to be Wonder Fair's main focus. We're going to try to stay focused on local elections and stopping the jail expansion, because if you pick a lane and stay in it, we're hoping we have more momentum. So,
All right.
boy, did I even have an intro? Was that it? What are we doing here?
Well, I know you got a lot of notes there to work from. Those were from the city com meeting. I watched some of the Criminal Justice Coordinating Council meeting yesterday. Can I talk about that a little bit?
Yes.
Okay, we'll post a link so you can see some of this yourself. But going back, and I'll try and explain this as best I can with the information that I have, which is not complete. But our understanding of the sort of in pushing for a larger jail, that seemed to come out of the sheriff's office. And as part of that, I believe there was a push to get more demographic data on who's in jail, and especially looking at the race of people in jail, and if there's any racial disparities in our prison population or jail population in Douglas County. Now, they had hired somebody to do data over 2 years ago, and no reports ever came. They hired somebody new this past December, and we're just now seeing the first report on racial disparities in Douglas County concerning our jail population. So yesterday, at that meeting was a presentation from the new data analyst. So I'm going to urge everybody to check that out. Highlights are, yes, there are racial disparities in our local jail population. We all saw it coming, but now we can point to it and say, let's fix this.
Some people really need the data or will do nothing.
Yep. So
there they have it.
So the main disparities seem to concern Blacks and Indigenous people who...
I don't know if the term Blacks is right. I would like to say
Black
and Indigenous
Black
people.
and Indigenous people. Sorry. And
I
so...
mean, it's not cool. That's why I stopped you.
Thank you. So Black and Indigenous people both are seemingly, I believe, arrested and held for longer, arrested at higher rates and held for longer times than white people in our local prison, jail. Sorry, I think there's a difference between a prison and a jail, right?
We're a jail.
Sorry, this is a jail.
Because we're a county and not like a federal prison.
So,
we had actually heard that was the case before this official enumeration somehow. That information could and should change how the county proceeds with, either expanding the jail or investing more in alternatives to incarceration, which is our preference. Of course, we're not policymakers. We're just people with opinions who try to do the research and be guided by compassion and an awareness of the history of racial injustice in our country and everywhere.
The other thing I'll add about this report is that it doesn't say where those racial disparities come from, because they come from all over. They come from all sorts of little things, from racial profiling in policing itself. They can come from sentencing disparities that are racial bias in sentencing.
Like a judge might typically give a person of color a longer sentence than a white person for the same crime.
So it's all a whole myriad, and that's the system, folks.
But we're voting for so many of those people.
That's the system in action.
We're voting for new judges, or to retain them or not. So we'll try to find resource guides on that to share. We're voting for a DA who might change the way we prosecute people for crimes of poverty. That's a new platform. Cooper Overstreet for district Dave,
attorney.
Hi.
We'll actually be. I was texting with Coop just yesterday, texting with Coop, and he's going to bring some signs down. So if everybody's on board with Coop and you want a yard sign, we'll be distributing those. So you can come on down, give us a knock, pick up a sign.
Well, I love that news. So that's really important, good progress at the county level regarding our jail. Well, I mean, it's bad news that's now clearly evident and the public can be made aware of it.
Yep. So that's my update from the county level. What do you got from city, Meredith?
From the city, we're like the real hard-hitting news team. We get our news from other people, everybody.
We're firsthand. We watched this meeting.
We watched the primary sources.
This is a primary source report.
Here's a primary source report from the city commission meeting. They're fun, and you should watch the whole thing.
All 5 hours?
Okay, maybe we'll pull out some highlights for folks. But a couple of highlights for me were that we were really heartened to see that our mayor, Jennifer Ananda, reversed their position. She has instead decided to vote no on the land use permit, which was a little bit of red tape that the city had to get through to allow the jail to expand. And Ananda reversed to a no position, stating that to be a true anti-racist in your actions, you cannot vote yes for that. And we want to really applaud. That was a stand-up.
Yep.
The speech is great. I recommend it as a way to learn
our Twitter. Yep.
To learn how to commit yourself to those positions. And I also, a low light I want to point out is, while we were so glad to know our mayor has made that commitment, another of our city commissioners who will be the next mayor, Brad Finkeldye, vice mayor, committed to a position. And specifically, his position, get ready for this, get excited about it. It's to ensure the, quote, consistent application of zoning codes.
You know what was most discouraging was Brad Finkeldye cited ensuring the consistent application of zoning codes as his main reason for running for city commission, which I gotta tell you, not an inspiring reason to be a leader in our community.
I do understand it. I feel like if we lived in a perfect society where all we had to worry about was the proper application of zoning codes, I too I stand a nerd.
Yeah,
you know I do.
We love nerds.
I like a code. But you know what is going to be a problem as people increasingly are aware of what's going on with the criminal justice system? The consistent application of those codes will consistently reinforce racism in our community in a way I don't think we all signed up for.
This is the system, folks. It's the system that got built. And that's the big problem. And so if you consistently apply the same old zoning codes,
or the same old any codes.
You're
just going to get the same results. And the results, as the report in the CJCC said, they're racist. So just going to give a big old, in the bachelor-style rose and thorn scenario, given a thorn to Finkeldye on that position. We would love to talk more with him about what can be done as far as like our deference to codes versus our deference to a constitution that says people should be treated equally, because at some point you got to pick one to put over the other. And I just think we can do it at the city level. I think we could change the code.
We can change the code. We can change the way that they vote on things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But they were also, I gotta say, we've watched both of these city discussions related to the jail permitting, and time and again, I believe commissioners were given the authority and encouragement to make morally clear decisions on this,
Mm-hmm.
and instead they deferred to
Right.
what was the word? The even application of zoning.
Oh, the consistent application.
Consistent of zoning codes. Inspiring, folks. Inspiring.
Yeah. So I guess I just want to keep along that track. Speaking of consistent application of zoning codes, we're just pulling out the real nuggets for folks. Finkeldie also, at that point, chose to conflate the choice to deny a permit to a mosque as being equivalent and inappropriate to the choice of city commission based on feelings to deny a permit to build a larger jail. And I want to call that out as, or am I calling it in? I don't know. I just think we should consider whether those are equal, because if we're consistently applying a code and saying like, no, you can't deny a permit because you don't believe a mosque should build, that's clearly a different situation than a larger jail. People have the right to assemble in their religion. That doesn't mean our community has the right to put people in jail when we are learning that the system that does that is not protected and does not protect people's constitutional rights. Those don't match. You can't do that. That's not it. That made me kind of grouchy when I heard it. And I just want to say to anyone in our community who heard that equivalency and felt it was racist, that it kind of was, and it's not cool. So, meetings get us so...
We got a little worked up this morning.
We did. We're sorry.
Watching this meeting.
Only like 600 people watch this, so they're probably used to it. They've seen me get hot and bothered over a notebook, so why wouldn't I be worried about my 5 elected officials that I really want to support? You know who I miss? Joey Hensler.
Oh, yeah.
What if he'd been
nice to have
vice
Joey
mayor?
up there.
Anyway, while I'm on the subject, I'd like to spend a moment talking about a real buzzy word right now. And I'm going to call it moral avoidance of critical issues. This is the buzzword I want you to start listening for. Slippery slope. Here's my opinion. You can't actually fall down a slippery slope until you've chosen to take the moral high ground in the first place. So, to Lisa Larson, who used the slippery slope argument to say that we have to be careful about not applying the codes in some cases versus others because of the slippery slope. We're not there yet and can't justify being worried about that.
Also, this is a singular entity within our city. There are not any competing jails trying to open here. This is a singular entity that our city funds, and it's very easy. There's no slope. You can say, I am not comfortable permitting this use within our city.
Right.
And there's nobody else who's going to be like, but you told that other jail that they could open. I want to open a jail here.
That's not going to happen. The slippery slope argument is used a lot, and I'm not even like calling out this one person. I'm sure I've used it as an argument to justify not taking action, because you're afraid taking one good action might inadvertently allow a secondary bad action that you don't want. And we want to have so much control over every action, but this is a time to be looking inwardly and seeing how much our desire to control ourselves and others is standing in the way of other people becoming free. So we have to learn to let that control go. The slippery slope is there. We're on it because we kept building up this systemic bias for generations, and now it's like a really steep slope. But we put ourselves up there, so everybody just look down the slope and say, looks slippery, let's all tie ourselves together so that we can be safe, and if one of us starts to slip, pull them back in. Just get them, we gotta build a better platform up here. It needs to be more stable and it needs to be more fair. And I think I actually making a speech.
You did.
I'm supposed to be telling you news. Well, those are just a few things people
clap
said.
Along and a preach in the Instagram.
Those are a few
comments.
things.
So yeah, you were making a speech.
Whoops. Those are things people said that stuck out to me, and I just wanted to talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
So let me go through my notes. So we're trying to shift our focus to primary prevention instead of punitive measures. That's just a goal. Put it in your mind. Slippery slope versus moral high ground. We did that. Efforts to say the buck stops there, and that this is not a city issue but a county issue. I'm not even going to address that because we're all tied together on top of the slope now. So the buck only stops here. Following guidelines, code requirements, talk about the mountain jail. Rubber stamping.
Oh, gonna get into the rubber stamping.
I love stamps. We just got in so many cute stamps. Just a stationary moment. I just got this really cute set of stamps that's just little cat paws, different kinds of cats.
Oh yeah, it's just the Yozo craft order.
Mm-hmm. They're so cute, and if you want to buy stamps from us, you can. But one thing that's gonna happen is we're all up on this top of the slope, try not to fall down. It is we're totally gonna mess up, and we are gonna fall down, and we're gonna pull each other back up again. And an example of this I just want to bring to people's attention is what Jennifer Ananda talks about in the meeting that I think was very, it's good action. The 8 Can't Wait campaign had good ideas, but just so y'all are keeping up, we are deep in an Instagram hole of swiping where we see a lot of maybe more radical content than others. So the current place we're at on that is actually 8 Can't Wait had good intentions, but just reforming a system that is not working. And the ideas there are still very good, and they focus more on not just supplying body cameras so that there can be less violence, but maybe the funding that would have gone to some other piece of the enforcement just goes into city schools or mental health services. So it's kind of the same conversation, but the way of wording it is importantly different. That it's not just a matter of increasing training or resources for that one department. It's a matter of making sure more departments see those resources in the first place to prevent harm at the primary level, not at the punitive level.
Yep.
So that's important. And I think the conversation is going to involve our city commission. I got to say, as much as I'm kind of grouchy about this or that thing, but that's just my feelings, and I'm working through them in a very public forum, which is probably a mistake. But what do I have to lose? My business. That's fine. The city's going to keep having these conversations, and we live in Lawrence, which, for all its problems, is a city that I think could be an example of how to do this right. So keep showing up. When you see people post on social media, the LJ World's going to be posting stories about this. Most of the people who are going to jump on those stories and respond are going to have slightly less aware takes. And so if you have some resources, maybe you jump in those comments and say, hey, I actually think you should look at this. Or I disagree. I think it's a great idea to fund that instead. So keep an eye on those comment sections. Try to keep them fair and balanced.
A big red flag, to get a little bit more specific here, a big red flag on any sort of police reform is, does it bring the police more money? So body cams, bringing more money to police departments. Nope, unless they're pulling money out to get body cams in.
Our police already have it.
Yep. So that's just one thing to look at is do any of these reforms further fund policing? And if the answer is yes, our answer is no.
Because our answer is yes to funding other sources. I try to be, believe it or not, an optimist in my life. And I feel like there's a lot of really good resources out there we could be creating or further investing in. So that's I think that's our local news.
Well, I wanna talk just real quick because we didn't mention it, but Mayor Ananda at the top of the meeting really outlined a lot of action items.
Yes.
For the commission.
They were all great.
There was a lot of there's a lot of things that she covered, and it's great to see her taking a real active leadership role in pushing for reforms, pushing for defunding the police here in Lawrence. And we want to keep the pressure on all the other commissioners to follow her lead and make good on some of those action items. Maybe all of them.
You know what I learned from Full Metal Alchemist, a really good anime?
What did you learn, Meredith?
Well, I can't cite it from memory, but it's something about like you can't destroy something without making something else equally. So Paul, just tell the people at home who enjoy Full Metal Alchemist as much as me, what is the equal and opposite reaction to defunding the police? Just in case you're nervous.
Funding other services that actually make our community safer and better.
In an equal measure.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So money comes from one pot,
just
goes
think about
to another.
Full Metal Alchemist, everybody.
And, you might not be familiar with what's in this other pot yet, because they might not be policy proposals yet for it.
It just occurred to me, I feel like maybe Full Metal Alchemist, I think he's like a policeman. He's like a rogue agent, though.
No
he's
idea.
not in, I think he's not on the force. Hey, Lexi or Nikita, do either of y'all watch Full Metal Alchemist?
No.
Is he in the police? It's hard to say. Like, they're like this body of alchemists who fight crime. So I got to look into that. We got to re-examine all of our faves, everybody. You got to look.
Fact check that.
Fact check all the faves. He loses his brother and accidentally. It's like, I don't want to give it away, but it's a really good show. You should check it out. I think it's on Netflix. I made that up. I have no idea.
Another fact check. Oh boy.
Full Metal Alchemist is good. Don't watch the live action though. The live action was not.
How do they do live action?
They did not. The answer is that they didn't. I think they were trying.
Maggie Jean says they're in the army.
Well, yikes. We'll break that down later when we have more time. That is not a local issue, and we are trying to be very focused on the platform we have and the things we think, doing the most we can with what we have. I never even brought out my stationery showcase today.
Tie-in?
These are cute pins we have where it's a little animal.
This is our vibe right now.
But we've got our party hats on, so
Dave likes it.
Dave's excited. Dave, would you like to join me while also I believe now that we've updated people on the news. Oh wait, I have one more important news. This is a very important one also. I just want to get a read. What's going to start happening as the August 4th primary approaches? Forums, listening sessions that city groups will organize where they will invite candidates, especially the sheriff, maybe the district attorney candidates, definitely the county commission candidates will be invited to these group meetings where they can ask questions and get responses to see who those groups vote for. These are like lobbying groups, like the Lawrence Chamber of Commerce might have one. Downtown Lawrence Incorporated will have one, and we will make ours public so you can come. That will not be the case for other groups. They will not be public. So I was just wondering, like, should we have a forum that's just like, should we build a coalition and have a forum and invite people to answer our questions? That could be fun. I don't know how to do that exactly, but just start paying attention. If any of you have been invited to a forum through the secret groups that you're in, can you tell us about them and then be our fly on the wall? We'd love to hear those answers that candidates give when they are in closed session with certain groups. I think that's important for transparency in the community. And maybe they always answer the same. That would be ideal, in which case that makes life better. Nikita, you're just slide on.
Yeah. I'm just going to scooch it. I was like, I'm going to wait till.
I just want people to go to these forums. They're
that's important.
Super fun.
Yeah.
There's 2 months till the election, so I feel like they're going to start coming fast and furious. There's probably going to be 4 or 5 over the next, for each race over the next 6 weeks, I would guess. Because at a certain point, people give up winning your vote and they're just like, well, I'm exhausted.
Yeah. It's not easy. It's not easy though.
Also, some people have already made up their minds. So,
yeah, very true.
Well, hello, Dave.
Oh, yes.
So, Nikita, hi, welcome.
Hello.
Welcome to Wednesday.
It's Wednesday, everybody.
It is. And Nikita, what special treat do you have for us today while Dave consumes a small child treat?
Dave, I think it's important that we do a tarot reading for you today. So that's really the focus of it. That's what I care about. I have this amazing deck called Cat Tarot.
Can Paul show
It's so
show off that front
special.
cover for people?
It's very special.
Didn't
Oh,
you
God.
tell us early days of pandemic TV show that tarot is what first got you into astrology in high school? Is that a thing I remember?
Well, kind of. When I was a child, my sister had a tarot deck, which is like the classic Rider-Waite, and she like thought it was kind of cool for a while, got sick of it very quickly, but as a child I was like, this is the most magical thing that I could ever imagine. So I was like super excited about it. So like a little bit. It was definitely one of the first things that I was like, this is just peak magic, peak coolness.
Peak coolness, peak showcase the Neo Tarot, but
Mhm.
you've mostly
Way
been
more
reading the
diverse.
Cat Tarot lately. What's that
I've
all
been
about?
doing that a lot lately. It's the energy that I'm asking for from the universe. I just feel like it makes me happy when I look at it. I usually just like do whatever deck I'm drawn to at the moment, and lately I've just been drawn to this Cat Tarot deck because cats are so beautiful and special, and I just like needed to have
Indeed,
a
all
little bit
cats
of
are
fun
beautiful,
in my
I would say.
universe discussion. All cats, yeah. Every single cat is one of the most beautiful creatures I've ever seen.
You hear that, Dave?
Yeah.
You're beautiful.
Dave was so, oh my gosh, he's so cute. I walked in, he was like, hi. Mainly because he wanted food, but you know, it's fine. I'll
I
take
think
that
he
as
knew
a
we were
hello.
waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a
He
tarot
agreed,
reading
yeah.
for Dave.
Mhm.
What sort of spread are you gonna do? I bet I myself am a bit of a dum-dum and only know the Celtic cross,
Oh
and
my
even
gosh.
that don't really know it. So
That's an intense one. I'm not
like a
gonna go that
baby.
intense.
Is it intense? See,
It's just like a lot of cards.
Okay. What's
So I'm going simpler.
tell us about your simpler method because that sounds actually nice to me.
I'm gonna do a past, present, future spread. So it's just
Ooh.
a 3-card spread, and you just kind of lay it out like straight across, which is just kind of like a simple balanced kind of spread.
That sounds
Just a little
nice.
linear one. You just like go in time. So I think I want to do that for Dave today. I was
Okay,
thinking
buddy.
about we're going into Mercury retrograde in a few days, which is not ideal.
Wait, what?
But yeah, in case you're wondering.
Oh, no.
June 18th is when it starts, everybody. And I did
Oh,
see a
just in
spread
time for your
today
birthday.
about it. But yeah, just in time for my birthday. It's going to be chaos.
Oh my god.
That cakewalk is going to be a nightmare.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's going to be a little intense communication wise. Maybe don't sign any contracts for the next month or so.
Good advice.
That's just like what every source is like. They're like, maybe don't sign any contracts.
Okay, I'm actually gonna write that down. All
You
right.
again have an excuse
Past,
not to read your email
Present,
for like a month.
future.
Yeah. Which I was gonna do a Mercury retrograde one, but instead I didn't, and we're just gonna do a simple past, present, future.
I
'cause
like
let's
that.
have fun. I'm just gonna like shuffle this a little bit. I did a little shuffling, did a little bit of spreading of it. Eve, aren't you so curious?
I think he's kind of curious.
You want to help me pick them out since it's your one? Just tell me what the universe tells you.
okay.
It should be your
I
selection.
think he's. Oh, he's
Oh
doing
my
it.
gosh. Okay.
He
so
definitely
here's the first
he
one.
booped that card
He
for
booped that
sure.
card for sure. Getting a sense that
Okay,
he wants
he's
one
gonna.
from
He's
over
eating
here.
the pen. This one's ours now.
Yeah.
This is
he's
common.
eating
Classic
a
Dave.
pen.
A classic
So
Dave.
that's the sense that I get from that one. Ah, buddy, you did such a good job. Just focus on the question that you want in your head to ask Dave. You don't have to say it out loud. Just
Am I
Focus
thinking of
on
it or
it.
is Dave thinking of it?
you can think of it too if you want to be his on behalf of him as a speaker. What kind of
I
questions
like-
do you think he'd want to ask the universe?
Okay, I'm thinking about it. Oh, he does not like the smell of that wipe.
He's like, I am mad, and I will be swiping at
Okay.
it. Buddy,
This is a lot.
what are you
I
doing?
like
What are you doing?
We'll allow it. Okay, so I have
Let it
a
back.
guess of his question.
Okay.
His general question about the universe.
Mm-hmm.
He's hopping down now that he's satiated.
Mm-hmm. He feels good about it.
Dave, so this is a question about the past? Is that what
It's a past, present, future, so it kind of is just like you
One
give a
question for
situation
all
and we'll
three?
kind of we'll kind of
Okay.
just work off of that question.
You know what this is a selfish request.
Keep it in mind. What?
I really want to know on behalf of Dave,
Mm-hmm.
how's he going to feel as we transition back into the stores I don't think we'll go to normal hours for quite a while because, frankly, the customer base won't be there to validate being open. What were we open, like 11 hours a day or something? Bananas?
Long time, yeah.
Yeah, we were open a lot. So, and we won't really have the staffing ready to go for that either. So, as we transition back, and Dave's been living in our house, which has been awesome for me and not my allergic husband, Paul, as much. Although I think he secretly loves it. Paul, you loving it?
Fine.
How allergic are you?
I'm living.
Okay.
He's
Fine.
living. He's fine. I'm worried about Dave though. Like, Dave's a store cat. He's been a store cat for over 2 years. This is his home. Starts to sleep here overnight again. Like, is he ready for that? How, like, what's in Dave's past, present, future vis-a-vis where Dave sleeps at night and how we deal with that in a way that takes care of Dave the most?
You're asking the universe some important, hard question.
It's a really important question to me. So it's selfish, but I hope that this will help Dave. Okay.
It's important.
I'm ready.
We're gonna reveal it. Oh my gosh, I just got this one recently in my phone. It's just wild. Remember?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, remember this?
Look, you pulled the Dave one.
Oh my gosh, this does look like Dave.
Oh my
The present card looks
God.
exactly like Dave, everybody.
Wow. That is
pretty
presently
wild.
Dave.
That is exactly what he looks like in the present. We'll see if he changes in the future, but Tarot real, absolutely, because that's exactly what Dave looks like presently.
Wow. I can't wait to hear about the present card and all the cards. Okay,
Yes.
what is...
So our
What does the
past
universe tell
card
me?
that we pulled is the Hanged Man card, which sounds really bad, but it's not. Let me tell you.
Okay.
I'll show it. I should probably show all of them.
They're
is the
so
Hanged
cute.
Man. They're all so cute. Look how concerned that kitty looks in that picture, but he's like, okay. So the Hanged Man is actually number 12 in the deck. So just as a little overview of what tarot is, it's just there's different meanings based on whether it's upright or reversed, and it's kind of just up to your interpretation how you take what the cards say, but there's kind of general ideas behind each one. So the Hanged Man says that your problems are of your own making, and they may not even be problems at all. And it's just kind of about being patient and having a new perspective of your situation. And they say you climbed up the tree, you'll be able to climb down. So it looks very scary and dangerous, but it actually isn't. It's actually just a card all about kind of patience and knowing that no matter what, you're going to be okay. So I feel like in this situation, it seems like in the past, I mean, it could have been a weird adjustment for Dave. I feel like it's a lot to kind of shift to at once. Things were very uncertain for a while, and he kind of found a good home in that. Because he had a special place to be.
We don't know his past, but it's true. We
very
don't know his
uncertain.
past,
Yeah.
but he got hit by a car and it put him on his path to Wonder Fair.
He was path to Wonder Fair, and in the last few months, he's just things were weird for a while, but he was able to stay at your home, and that's lovely. And I'm sure he's loving that.
I think so.
He seems to be having fun. I'm
He's kind
guessing.
of into it.
Yeah, he seems like he's in a really good mood, so he's probably enjoying it.
That's true. Okay, well, that's a great past. It sounds like a good basis for the present, which is where we're currently at with Dave. How's he feeling?
The present has to do, so the card that we pulled is the Queen of Pentacles, which we showed before, which looks like Dave. Also a good thing to do when you're doing tarot is just kind of look at the card and see if you can interpret anything from that. That's a tool both for learning tarot and just to help you kind of connect more to your question. So as you can kind of see in it, this is a kitty who's using one of those feeding feeding bowls that has more of a challenge in it. It's like a game bowl.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
And so it seems to suggest to me that this cat is working really hard for something, and that you'll get those rewards if you just kind of work for it.
It's Birder.
Birder.
Sorry,
That's what he's working towards. It has nothing to do with the question anymore. This is just about Birder.
That's what he wants. He's working toward it every day.
He's working towards just murdering a bunch of birds, otherwise known as a birder.
Well, I'll keep my eye out for that.
Just keep an eye out. Yeah, the pentacles as a suit is kind of just geared towards often kind of associated with money and more practical kind of finance related stuff. It just tends to be.
Interesting.
It's not necessarily the case, but it is linked a lot with practicality. And so we're going to actually look it up in this book to see what they talk about, because that's what you do next usually. So the Queen of Pentacles, it says that there's like great tidings ahead, but it takes both diligence and intelligence with, Dave has both of those things. So upright, it's basically suggests that the Queen of Pentacles is nurturing, supportive, strong, loving, creative, and successful, thanks to her pause-on approach to the tasks in front of her. I love these descriptions because they're all catties. She's incredibly astute and willing to keep at it until the treat is out of the maze. If she sounds ideal, that's because she is. These are the standards to aim for. So I think he's doing really well presently. I think he's really enjoying the situation he's in, despite how awkward that transition might be. I know cats don't really love a lot of change. But I think Dave is doing great is what it's telling me, which is pretty cool.
Sounds ideal. It's because she is.
Yeah.
That's a good description. Is there a way to just make that card be a card that is our life?
Yeah, you could probably use it as just a general mantra for your life. Put it on your altar if you start an altar space. That's always a good way to bring that energy into your life, or just, think about it from time to time. Some things that people do when they do spreads, sometimes they'll put they'll pick a certain card out of the deck that they want to focus on as an energy and put that out and then do a spread with it, which is really cool. Yeah. There's a lot of really cool things that people do with tarot out there. Yeah.
That makes sense to me because in life, the universe, it's not totally random. There are people and things in our life that ground it or influence it. So why not have a known factor in your randomized spread? Not random, because I don't know, magic.
You just don't have to leave it all up to the universe, you can invite certain energy into your life and do things with that if you want to. There's no real rules to tarot. It's just kind of using it as a tool for your own sense of self and the universe if you'd like. But yeah, you can kind of do with what you want. Wow. Make it as secular or non-secular as you'd like.
This is feeling like a good sign spread, but of course the future is what we're most worried about with Dave's potential transition back to some. I mean, he'll still be here every day. How do we do the nighttime? He needs to be with people at least 12 hours a day. That's just cat facts. So what does the future hold, Nikita?
That's a good question. So this is the only reversal that I pulled in the spread, which reversals, some people believe in them, some don't. I'm kind of mixed on my feelings about them, but it's good to note. This is the Queen of Wands reversed. So I'll show you the upright just because that's just easier to look at. So in it, you can see that there's a little kitty by a fireplace holding a little toy, just so happy. Oh my gosh. I'm just looking at this really closely for the first time, and it's just so cute. I don't know what that means, but it seems to symbol something really cool. I think lions are great. So yeah, that suggests to me that there's probably, it's a reversal, which doesn't mean the opposite, just in case anyone's wondering. It doesn't mean that things are bad. But directly kind of tend to correlate to, but it does have to do with action steps, I believe. So I'm going to look it up because that's really as much as I'm getting from this card from just looking at it, because I don't know all the cards in tarot. There's so many. Wands is what I'm looking for. I think I skipped.
Took me a minute.
I think it's fair. It's very confusing when it's not direct.
Right.
Yeah.
I also am only acquainted really with the Rider Waite, which is just a big old club.
Big old club.
It's a hand holding a big.
They're yeah. I mean, they're wands, so they're big sticks.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Anyway, cat toy sounds more fun.
So this is just a general overview. This is not the what they say for the reversal, but I kind of just read general overviews of it too, because I don't fully trust reversals for what they are. So the Queen of Wands exudes confidence. She is a seer, strong, capable, vibrant, fearless, and ambitious, no matter how sleepy she may look. So I'm just going to read you what it says for the reversal, and then we're going to kind of try to take it from there. We'll interpret it how we want to, right? So the reverse says, the Queen does not like to listen to others, nor to seek control of her warm spaces. But if she doesn't, she may become aggressive and demanding. This is a time to take stock, to focus on your own issues and not nitpick others. Try listening for a change.
Wow. Well,
that's a lot of information for you.
I could personally relate to that reversal, but
do you feel
I wonder if me asking the question and trying to
control?
assert so much control over Dave's happiness is why that came up.
I feel like the universe might be telling you that you're trying to control factors that are
just
out of your control.
Chill, girl.
So
Dave's
that
got
is a
this.
good way to think about that situation too much. If you try to be too controlling over it, it's not going to lead you anywhere good. And in fact, it's probably just going to make your life more difficult. So I think a big part of it's probably just suggesting to you that you just need to like make the decisions as best as you can, as practically as you can in the moment, and then just like hope that that is what needs to happen. But you can't have control over all of the fate of that, you know?
Yep.
You can't control like whether or not every situation is going to make Dave happy or not. You can only do what seems best in the moment for him. And I'm sure he appreciates that.
That's what I guess we're going to do. And he, you know, he doesn't get outside as much to get the birds now. Except on a leash. Because
Birder is bad, everybody.
got that bird in his mouth.
Folks, so
there's consequences for that. But okay. I like it. This feels pretty good. It feels like no really big red flags to worry about with Dave's past, present, future vis-a-vis his comfort level at Wonderfair.
Yeah.
So we'll just take it day by day. Try to ask Dave. Try it out one night back at the fair. See how he likes it. We've made sure to keep his feeding times the same as ever was.
Oh, good.
So a large part of Dave's comfort, which is through his tum-tum, will receive no change whatsoever.
Good.
It will only change how much he can come wake us up at 7:30 going, meow, 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 meow.
He likes to do that.
Meow, meow.
Big meows.
He finally got to the point where it's never before 8:07 a.m.
Oh, that's nice. That's a nice change for
He's
you.
definitely working on it. And, you know, I don't know the cats tell time normal. That he might have an actually better idea of what time really is than us humans who just decided clocks are it.
Yeah, I think he definitely has a better sense of time. Cats seem to have a better sense of what the universe means.
Right. I mean, I feel like I don't have the same amount of time in every day based on how much my brain is distracted or stressed. So, like, maybe my experience of time is equally valid to the actual passage of time.
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't get the same amount of stuff done every day, folks.
No, all days are not the same, let me tell you.
They're definitely not the same. And y'all, daylight savings time, they just changed those clocks. It clearly isn't real when you can just change the hour for a bunch of people. At 1 minute's this hour, next minute's that hour.
It's really wild. It's really funny. I used to like growing up talk to my aunts in Canada a lot, and like they don't have daylight savings time, and they would always just be like, "Why would you? Why would you do that?" Like, and like they live like kind of on the same line as like where we live, like time zone wise, and so like sometimes it would be the exact same time there, and sometimes it'd be like an hour off, and like I'd be like, why? And they'd be like, we don't know why you're. It's like they choose not to.
Is that right?
It's just
Arizona.
And
Arizona and Indiana? Indiana doesn't do it? Wow.
Who knew?
Paul knows that because as a touring musician, often the weird time changes really mess you up when you're on tour trying to get to a venue on time. And in one state it's this, and then in another state it's that.
That's very difficult for you. I'm so sorry.
It's a lot. But, you know.
A small hardship.
It's a small hardship.
Your life is the hardest one, is what I'm telling you. Let's talk about the white man's part today, everybody.
Time zones, am I right?
I focus too much on
it's
race.
True.
And
it's clearly we're gonna shift gears, I think, and try to change time zones instead of all the other stuff we've been doing the last few weeks and years. But actually not. Even though it's important to listen to Nikita as stationer to the stars in this time, but I think Paul doesn't have that bad.
Okay, yeah. If you really want to argue,
I think Paul's
you really want to
really
argue
good.
that time zones are not that horrible.
We're not going to really worry about. I'm sad about touring musicians in general right now because their finances are effed, and it is a problem for them.
Bad.
But we're not going to focus on everything right now. We got this. Our heads are spinning.
Cute.
I have a visual aid.
Oh,
it's really helpful, actually.
That's so good.
So this spinning head Sheba says there's probably less than 1 minute left. So Nikita, what would you like to say to the people of Wonderfair Home Shopping?
Oh my gosh, take care of yourself, everybody. It's an exhausting time, and we all just need to relax. There's a bug attacking me right now, but and take care of yourself while you do important stuff.
See you next week for your cakewalk birthday.
Cakewalk birthday.
We should
so
get together in
excited.
the next couple days and figure out who we should
Okay.
invite,
Yeah, that's an important thing
so
to
they
do.
can get their cake recipes together.
Mhm. They got to be prepped. I'm
Yeah.
expecting top-notch cakes, everybody.
Um,
I don't settle for less than the best when it comes to cakes.
I'm not much of a
apparently.
baker, but I'm gonna try my best for you.
Thank
I
you.
love
I appreciate that. Oh my gosh.
Love you.
amazing.
Okay, well, we're just gonna go and do all our jobs,
Woo!
all of them.
Every job.
The end. I love that tarot deck. Look at this kitty. You can tell it's wiggling its butt.
Wait, what?
Bonus content for the internet. This cat right here.
Oh, the kitty
Look,
here.
you can tell
yeah.
just by looking at it.
It's wiggling in the
Inside this
butt.
box is a wiggling cat
When you
butt.
put this on, when you put the cap on, it's just peeking
Oh,
out underneath
it's
it.
too cute.
Isn't that so special?
Oh my gosh, where'd you get this tarot box?
I got this from the Raven actually. We ordered in a couple
Nice.
extra after someone ordered in one.
Yeah.
So you can definitely, I think we have a couple in stock if anybody really wants it, which
Dang, y'all.
you all
That's pro
should.
tip.
Yeah,
That's pro tip.
this is the best deck. It's so good.
It's really, really,
We get the world one.
Do you have a
Tom.
favorite card that you want to show as
Um,
bonus material?
Oh gosh. I don't have one off the top of my head, but I'm gonna find one that really matters to me. I'm gonna go with this one. This is one of my favorites, honestly. A little croissant kitty, just with a little stripy tail.
I like how French it is because of the fancy black and white tiles. and the
Mhm. This
croissant
is a French
kitty.
cat. This is en chat.
Croissant.
Yeah.
En chat
En
croissant.
chat croissant.
Oh,
Yeah. That's it.
buddy.
That
Oh, the little
baby's just
stars
having
are
a great
treats. Is
time.
it stars?
Yeah, I think they're little stars, but they're little
That's
treats for
so
the baby.
sweet.
This is a 6 of cups is what this
Oh,
card is.
cups.
Which cups
Oh.
is a it's all about emotions as a
Mm.
one. This is one I'm very familiar with, like this suit, because I pull them all the time. I have a lot of emotions.
Interesting. That's
Yeah.
fair. That's understandable.
God, so many.
I like the emotions. And I like this
Thanks.
card deck a lot.
Thanks.
A lot. Is that the Cheshire Cat? No.
You suggest that one of these? Oh, look at the High Priestess. This is a little
Oh,
witching
it
cat.
looks totally different upside down to me.
It's not a Cheshire cat, but it is a
Oh.
cat wearing a little witch's hat, which is like
so
super
cute.
important to
I
me.
love that.
As a little magician.
That one looks good with your beautiful blue lipstick today.
Oh, thanks.
Where's our cat? Where's it? Well, I feel like this tarot is gonna be helpful for Dave, and specifically
so.
to remind me to like just chill the f out. It's gonna be fine. He's cat. We can do this. We can move the cat.
Yeah.
Mm.
I think
He just sleeps
chilling
here.
is
He
good.
loves sleeping here,
He does like to sleep here. I think he likes some alone time.
and he misses people because when the staff come in periodically, he's always like,
Oh, so cute.
Let me
Yeah,
have those
he
pets.
does miss people for sure.
worried about the toddler situation though, because historically, he really likes people who maybe like had a little more cat petting experience.
Mm-hmm.
And don't like go right for the belly.
Yeah, I'm really worried that Dashel is going to be the most extreme version of himself, and people start coming back into the Raven. He's always been very, very anti-child, and yeah, literally they'll just like look at him, and he just like goes for the face. Like he has no tolerance for children anymore, which like is fair, and I agree. But like, I'm supposed to protect the children or whatever. I tell them not to get close to him, and they do it anyway, and then he swipes them in the face, and I'm like, well,
You're not.
this is why I'm not going to be a parent, everybody.
I mean,
Because I would be like, you did what you were supposed to do.
How long has Dashel been there? 5, 7 years?
He's been like there at least, I think, 7 years or so. And yeah, he's had some really bad incidents with kids. So, I mean, it's very
just
fair.
Leave Dashel alone.
Yeah, just
If you want Raven Cat, you sit on the chair thing, and Nio just comes and is like,
just hops into
you're
your
my
lap.
best friend.
Yeah, Nio is the sweetest baby.
Mm-hmm. So Nio's going to be pumped on
gonna
the
be
return
pumped.
to people, which I think is a long way off for y'all.
Yeah, it's gonna be
And Dashel's going to be a bit grouchy.
Mm-hmm.
What if all the children come armed with tuna sandwiches?
Oh my God, he
'Cause
would change
Dashel
his
loves a tuna,
thoughts
right?
immediately. Yeah. He would immediately change gears and be like, "I love every child." He's
I'm just
very
putting
easy
it
to win
out
over.
there.
Yeah.
Maybe this is the way to correct the system. Can of
Mhm.
tuna.
Mm-hmm.
Toddler wants to talk to Dashel. Be like, put out your hand. You
Oh,
gotta feed the
put
cat
out
a tiny
your-
piece of tuna. So eventually Dashel realizes the only way I can get tuna is by ingratiating myself with these toddlers.
Mm-hmm. And he's
Right.
so willing to do that for tuna.
I don't know if this
Yeah.
is good or bad advice. Probably bad advice.
It's probably really bad advice,
Okay.
but we don't want a bunch of children
With tuna hands,
feeding,
rubbing their tuna hands all over
rubbing
your
their tuna
books.
hands all over the books, and
Mhm.
also just like putting so much tuna into our kitty's tummy. I don't think that would be good for him over
That's a
time.
good point. I
He's
didn't
a bit
think about the
older, yeah.
quantity of toddlers potentially involved with the tuna caper. Tuna and capers. I think I want to eat a tuna salad sandwich.
Oh my gosh, you should do it.
And then,
That's
did you
good
already
for
eat
you.
lunch?
No.
Well, we'll talk about our lunch next.
Okay.
All right.
I was like, no, didn't.
Congrats on all your bonus content, YouTube. I feel like we didn't solve anything, but it
We
was
solved a
nice.
lot.
I did solve one.